Well, here we are. It's a rainy day in Vancouver, but I'm feeling like a kid at Christmas. Got this sweet little Woodmizer EG100 here. Came off the back of the truck. We talked about it at the beginning and I think again at the end of the last video. And just getting ready to see if we can put this thing together. Looks like a ton of fun, so I'm going to start undoing the wrapping paper. You know, a few years back, Coral and I did the Machu Picchu Trail. And we did it with our friends out of Mountain Madness out of Seattle. And make it happen was what it was all about. So let's see if we can make it happen with this little edger. I have no idea what's in that bucket of bolts that accompanies this fine piece of equipment, but it's going to be a surprise party. Well, here we go, kids. So, I assumed these were Robertson bits. That was the first little surprise. They were Phillips. But we're starting to get the wrapping paper off this. Let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, starting to open it up. There we go. A few sturdy nails in there. Okay, it's Christmas morning. All sorts of fun pieces here. Let's see what we got. Looks like we've got a base that we're gonna build. Complete with a note from Santa or a parts list in an indistinguishable, to me, language. Going to be cutting in metric? Could be. Okay, so this is perhaps a classic example of, like one of my friends is fond of saying, just when I need it most, the English language lets me down. I pretty distinctly remember asking the dealer for this little ledger, is this a significant project to put this together. No, you get the edger and you just put the in-feed and out-feed tables on it, and I don't know, you might want a couple of extension tables, but it's pretty quick and easy. Hey, it's all a matter of perspective. I wouldn't do anything different if I was doing it all over again, but I am a little surprised that I've got about 5 packages of nuts and bolts like this, plus other odds and ends. I love a project though. So here's to it. Onward. So I've kind of jammed myself up here, not realizing what all would be in the box of goodies. Time to reset. Why is this reminding me of some Red Green episode where I'm going to be holding all of this together with duct tape? This is too funny. Well, it did seem pretty logical for a little bit until we find out that these nuts don't exactly freewheel down the bolt. Just to make sure I'm not confusing things here, and that I don't have some locking and non-locking nuts. It would appear that they all have some locking mechanism, or perhaps the bolts just weren't thoroughly cleaned after the finishing process. So, little pause in the action here. We're going to go and run these across a wire wheel and clean them up so that we can put these guys on. We'll resume after these non-messages. And here we are on a rainy Sunday, something, in the Vancouver area, continuing the build of the little Woodmizer EG100. So here we are at part 2. And what I did is I kind of tidied things up around here a little bit. I had some odds and ends, wanted to reposition stuff and just keep this video moving along nicely. The other reason that it took me a little bit just to get things sorted out is I have a wonderful little assembly manual, and I'm looking at page 3-4 right now, and it's talking about the sawdust hopper and a bunch of parts here. Hey, you know what? They simply didn't arrive with the shipment. Everything was laid out as you've seen in the first video, and just simply didn't arrive. The other thing is, here on page 3-6, it says, for a complete list of fasteners, see the replacement parts list, section 1.14. No section 1.14 in here. Went back and forth through it 2 or 3 times, and I thought that a video of me flipping back and forth through the manual was probably not going to hold your interest today. So, but you know, a bucket of bolts is a bucket of bolts. We laid them out, we figured it out, did a quick bolt count, lined up the washers and the nuts, and I'm all ready to go now, except for one of the brackets that needs to put on. I think they call it a transportation bracket. And then I'm ready to pick that little gem up and see if we can get it fastened to the stand here. What's really interesting is when I ordered this, I kind of said, what's the weight and what kind of equipment am I going to need to move it around? And the response I got was, it's going to be about 2,000 pounds. I think it probably, if I had to estimate, would be around 1,000 or 1,100 pounds, and that includes all the packing material. maybe 1,200 pounds with the in-feed and out-feed. And I'm just guessing that by the lift capacity of my little John Deere that you'll see over there. It'll come into the picture here in a few minutes, because its maximum liftability is 500 pounds, and it pretty easily picks up the main unit there, sans engine. And easily meaning I would judge it at 375, maybe 400 pounds. So the only reason I mention this is it doesn't matter. It weighs what it weighs. But in terms of manning up or having equipment to move stuff around, it's highly mobile is what I'm struggling to get out here. It's not bad at all. And so onward. We're going to make some noise now. Okay, so the tools for this particular piece of the job, you'll quickly figure out that this edger originated in Europe. So no surprise it's metric. Well, it surprised me. I previously referred to the leg bolts as being a 1 3/16. So they are whatever a metric equivalent to 1 3/16 are. And so 17 millimeter, and I've snugged up most of the bolts here. I won't do the final tightening till I have the main body of the edger in place. And but I am tightening up the lift bolts. And so for those that are confused or confounded at all by the manual and just the exact assembly, I'm hoping to zero in on this, and so that you can get just a little better view of what the actual assembly looks like and what goes inside of what. I hope that this is a little bit helpful. And then when we place the edger on the unit, let me just reposition this guy. All right, so when the edger gets placed on the unit, this mounting base is outside of the orange body on the edger. So a little bit of noise and then a little more noise. I'll bring the tractor in here and we'll lift this up and get it in position. Well, hey, we're making progress. It fits quite nicely. If you haven't seen kind of the inside of how the legs are designed, what I just did in putting the bolts in could have looked dangerous, but we're well secured up top. However, I never trust that, but pegged in and with some holders and the legs, we're now snugged up, and we'll throw the bolts in and we'll have this thing anchored fairly well, fairly shortly.